How's everyone doing today? This is your boy Reg in the building. I got my homeboy Try with me.
What up?
It's gonna be a special video. We're gonna do the top 10 fourth albums in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Not debut, not second, but decided to do fourth albums. The reason why I wanted to do is because it's like a lot of rappers really can't really make past their second album sometimes,
Right.
or sometimes it's like they'll drop a debut album where it's like good or but not great. Then they'll
Mm-hmm.
drop a second album, which a lot of people consider the best. Then drop a third album, which will be even good, even better. Then the fourth album is probably where, the third album is probably like where the cracks might start showing, but then the fourth album is just like the shitty of the shit, pretty much.
Right.
And so I picked these albums based on like my personal liking and everything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna do what we do, like go one by one. My number 10 is gonna be Tribe Called Quest Beats Rhymes and Life.
Nice.
Um, very dope album. To me, that's the most underrated album in their discography. They were very angry with that album to say the least and shit like that. You know, it had
Right.
songs like Phony Rappers, Jam. I mean, excuse me, The Hop and stuff like that.
Classic.
Fucking Keeping It Moving and stuff like that too. Like that was the beginning of. To me, it was a good album. Then it was kind of impactful wise. It was not a good album because
Mm.
the chemistry between Tip and Fife wasn't there because at that time Fife was in Atlanta and he had to travel all the way to New York, to record. And then by the time he got there, either Consequence would already drop a verse or they already had left the studio. Which
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, I found that kind of fucked up.
Right.
I mean, I definitely because at that time, like I guess that was the beginning of I don't want to say the beginning
But
because
is it a classic though?
it's not a classic to me. It's a good album, not a
Right.
classic.
Not a classic.
I always felt like the first three albums are the only classics Tribe has.
Mm.
Beats Rhymes was good album. Probably you know what? That's the strongest out of the last three because Love Movement was not that good.
Yeah.
We got it from here. I like that one. Don't get me. That was a good one too
Right.
and shit. But to me, Beats Rhymes in Life that was a very dope album and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree. I definitely agree. Like, yeah, there was so many issues with that album. I'm like, and I've heard people say, "Oh, that I think that's a classic." I'm like, really? People feel like,
I love Tribe, but no, I would not call it a classic.
right?
To me, People's Instinctive Travels and Past is a classic more than that one.
I agree. Number 10 for me is going to be damn, this is a hard list, Joe. I'm going with Common B. I think B, even I think this is one of Common's best, his last great album to me. The production by Kanye
That
and
that's his sixth album.
oh, is it sixth album?
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah, because his fourth one was Like Water for
Oh
Chocolate.
shit. Damn it. Why did I think it was B?
I guess because I guess because like technically one day I want to say it was a no, that wasn't a major label. No,
Why did I think it was B?
I mean good album though.
Like Water for Chocolate. This is a classic. This definitely belongs on this list. And the production by Dilla, rest in peace, and the joints on here, the light and the Sixth Sense and Cold Blooded and man, this was a great album, man. This was a great album. I love it. Like, I don't get tired of hearing this album. I think it's top three best rap album of 2000,
I agree.
and it was definitely phenomenal, and you know he had more than one classic. You know what I'm saying? Like at that time, it was a lot of people felt like it was just like Water for Chocolate, and then B came out, and then that changed everything. So he has multiple classics, and yes, definitely. For some reason, I don't know why I thought B was the fourth album, but yes, like Water for Chocolate is great.
Yeah, it's all good though. We all learn. All right. My next album is Salt and Pepper is very necessary.
Nice.
That came out in '93. To me, this is like my second favorite Salt and Pepper album. My first, of course, being Black Magic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is pretty much like to a lot of people their most popular album. Um, this is known for songs like Waterman, um, Shoop, which I'm not gonna lie, I like Waterman, but I'm kind of burnt out a little bit from that song because
Yeah.
a lot of people kind of overuse that.
They did.
But Shoop, I never get tired of Shoop. Like
Yeah.
that,
Great.
that's
Great
my
song.
shit right there.
Definitely.
But then they got some underrated jams like Somebody's Getting on My Nerves, where
Hmm.
they were going after Roxanne Shante. Y'all should know the story about that whole Big Mama track.
Right.
Sexy Noises Turn Me On. But it's crazy how they ended off the album with the fucking PSA that I got AIDS. I'm just like, well, damn. After Shoopin'
Right.
and that song none of your business and shit
Hmm.
like that, just ended up with that shit. But
They
kind
got
of
serious.
groundbreaking at the time too.
Hmm.
So yeah, this was a very dope album, and it got them their first Grammy. With None of Your Business got them their first Grammy awards too.
Dope. Number nine is Rick Ross, Teflon Don. This was the first Rick Ross album I ever bought. And I
Dope album.
wasn't a huge Rick Ross fan. Like I knew the hits. I knew he had Push It and Blow and Deeper Than Rap and all that. But I don't know. Like when I heard BMF for the first time,
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying, with Styles P killing it, and then I
bro,
was in Miami when this album dropped. I was like, yo, let me pick this up, and I picked it up while I was down there, and that's all they were playing down there was the BMF shit, and
that was in my iPod heavy.
yes, and the MC
Yes,
Hammer joint. I'm like, yo, this joint is his magnum opus to me. Like I love Deeper Than Rap. That could have been on this list. Well, that couldn't be on this list because it was fourth albums, but Teflon Don is definitely a classic, man. Like that's one of my favorite Ross albums, and the production and the features with Kanye West, and he had Drake and Chrisette Michelle on Aston Martin music, and Jay Z's on what's the joint Freemason. You got CeeLo on here. You got Neo on Super High. That was a single. Raphael Sadiq on the last song is like all the features on here was just crazy. The production was bananas, and yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite albums ever, rap albums ever. Definitely one of my favorites from Rick Ross. If I had to pick one Ross album, it would be this one. So yeah, this would definitely have to be on my list.
yeah, man. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Hmm.
Like that was the album that really made me respect him
Right.
as a rapper and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
that one and Deeper Than Rap, I always go back and forth
Yes.
with.
Love
Because
Deep in the Rap.
Deeper Than Rap, that was I don't give a fuck. That's a mafioso rap
Oh yeah,
masterpiece.
for
I don't give a
sure.
damn what no one says.
Facts.
All right, now I'm gonna go with Schoolboy Q with the Blank Face LP.
Nice.
Oh my god, to me his best album. I love Oxymoron to this day, but
Hmm.
this one was like a more darker album and
Right.
shit too. This has songs like fucking Never Change. He got the Dog Pound with Big Body.
Hmm.
That part, that was like a big song
Yeah.
and shit like that. That part, Know You're Wrong. That's to me one of Alchemist's best beats in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah. Facts.
Yeah, man. Shit. Might have to do a top out. An Alchemist beat battle might be coming soon.
Yes. Oh God. It just
That
keep
might
getting
be
better and
coming.
better.
Shit, especially the shit he's coming out with now. Oh
Right?
man.
For Griselda and shit.
Oh man. Oh my god, yo, shit. Alchemist has just
Crazy.
been putting it down
Killing it.
like yeah, man, consistent and shit. You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
I don't see how people could say Hit Boy is the best producer out of when you got Alchemist doing his thing.
I mean,
Like
I
Hit Boy.
like Hit Boy, but he can't touch Alchemist.
Nah. Hell no.
He cannot. But yeah, man. To me, this was his to date his last good album because I did not like Crash Talk. I felt like
Right.
that was kind of whack in my opinion.
Hmm.
He was trying to go for that mainstream kind of sound and shit like that. Like he got songs with fucking Lil Baby
Right.
and Ty Dolla Sign. So what does that tell you? So shit.
Oh man. Yep. Number nine, number eight, I got Ti with King.
I was so close to being on my list too.
The one of the best albums from T. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite, but 'cause I got more than one. I think he has multiple classics, but this one seems to be like the this magnum opus by a lot of the general consensus in hip hop. And I think it was a great album. And you got joints like Top Back was great, and you got the Undertaker with a young Buck and young Joe, and you know what you know about that, love that song, and why you wanna, and is definitely a great album. A Good Life with Pharrell and Common, definitely a great
Mm.
album. One of his best albums. I love, like I said, like I always say, I love his first six albums. I think his first six was like solidified him, for like southern hip hop and just hip hop in general. But King seems to be like, a lot of people feel like it's his magnum opus. I love trap music was great, and I love Paper Trail and Ti versus Tip we talked about, and but for his fourth album, I'm like, yes, this is definitely a classic album for Ti's fourth album, and I wanted to include that on here. I'm a big Ti fan. I've always been a huge Ti fan, so yes, this number eight.
I love that song "Why You Wanna," where he flipped that Crystal
Yes,
Water
I
sample. To
love
me,
that.
that was my introduction to that song too.
Right.
One more song, the one with the first track, I think called King Back or
King
King Back
back,
or some
yeah,
shit. Oh my
yes.
fucking
King back, and then you got front back with UGK.
yeah, that front back go hard too.
Yeah, yep.
Um, yo, this might be a surprise choice, but I'm gonna go with the Raekwon's "Only Built for My Cuban Links" as my number seven. To me,
Mm,
one of the best Wu Tang albums of the 2000s and shit. My second favorite Raekwon album, because I'm not gonna lie, Mobilarity.
mm.
Uh,
You
it
didn't pick
was
it.
okay. I mean, I know a lot of diehard Wu fans love that one, but
Mm,
I tried to get into it. I couldn't.
yeah.
Lex Diamond, oh my god,
I didn't like that at all.
no, it's trash.
Did not like that.
Um, yeah, I'm not gonna be in a rush to review that one, but yeah, this joint out there right here, I guess I was worried about this joint, but
Right.
man, it picked up right where the album left off, like with Return to North Star.
Yeah.
Then of course, our House of the Flying Daggers. That was a big song, not like a
Right.
big song, but it was on the radio a lot that time. My favorite joints, Cold Outside with Ghost and Sugar Bang Bang.
Yes.
Um, fucking We Will Rob You. Oh my God, Jizza, Master Killer, and Slick Rick. That's like my
Fire.
favorite joint off this album.
Definitely.
Ason Jones, and it's crazy because originally he was doing like a lot of label shopping
Mm,
because it was supposed to have came out in '05.
right.
Um, Busta Rhymes was supposed to executive produce that album and shit like that.
Really?
Yeah, from what I looked up. But then
That's when Buster was still on Aftermath?
yeah, because Raekwon went to Aftermath at one
Mm,
point
right.
and shit like that. But then y'all know what happened and stuff like that. Aftermath. Their reputation delaying shit. So of course Raekwon got tired of waiting
Right.
and stuff like that. He became a free agent. They did that underrated eight diagrams. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Shit like that. So it ended up coming out in '09. And it's crazy too because I've always say '09 was one of my least favorite years for hip hop.
For hip hop, right.
Yeah, but this was to me one of the best hip of '09 in my personal opinion. Maybe the best hip hop album of '09. This is how you do a hip hop sequel. It's
I
not
agree.
touching the original. I'm gonna be real. It's
They're
not
not touching
touching.
the original for you?
It's damn close. Damn close.
All right. Number seven, I got probably a surprise. I don't know how people feel about this album, but to me I think it's solid. Redman, Doc's the Name 2000. I
Oh,
love this
underrated.
album. I love this album. I thought the production was great. The skits were funny. The features, and he had like maybe close to 20 something tracks on here, and he held it down for most, on his own, with the exception of the joint with Buster. The Goodness was dope, and I'll Be That was the first single, and Jersey Yo, and I Don't Care, Keep on 99. This was a solid album that nobody talks about. It's There's a Dark Side Out Here and Muddy Waters. I don't care about his fourth album, and I thought his fourth album was definitely a dope ass project and one of the last solid albums he released on Def Jam. Malpractice. I know a lot of people don't care for that one, but we just staying within the fourth albums, and I think he had a solid fourth album, and I enjoyed it, man. This is definitely one of my favorite Redman albums all time. So that made the list. I did, I don't know how many people would have put that on their list, but I'm like, we're gonna throw a little curveball.
I mean, I know a lot of people, Redman fans, love that album
Hmm.
now. I think, that's like his highest selling album, right?
Is it?
Yeah, that's his highest selling
I didn't
album.
know that. Wow.
Yeah.
I've always loved it though. Like from and I got it for Christmas that year. I've always loved it. I just never heard nobody mention it though. I never hear nobody even now. I don't hear nobody talk about it.
Yeah, I think now it's kind of, it has like a cult following, to be
Right.
real with you. It has definitely a cult following because it's, to me, I'm gonna be real. I
Hmm.
would call it an arguable classic.
I think it
Okay, I've heard
is.
people say they love it even as much as Muddy Waters
Right.
and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
it has some of his best songs.
Yes,
To
definitely.
be real with you, he has some of his best songs. The Nick was at his bag in '98.
Yes, I
Like
agree.
shit.
Yeah.
All right,
Facts.
I might throw a little curveball to me. I know a lot of motherfuckers don't like this album. I don't give a fuck. I love it. This is Ice Cube's Lethal Injection.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
people to this day bash this album, saying, "Oh, Q went G Funk. It's not as political as America's Most Wanted Death Certificate," which I highly disagree with that because to
Right.
me, this had some of his most heaviest songs. Like When I Get to Heaven, my favorite track off this album.
Yeah.
Um, What Can I Do? Which I'm not even gonna hold you. I've always loved the original version.
Right.
The West Side remix was cool,
Hmm.
but the East Side, I love the East Side remix. It had more of a tribe feel to it, but it was kind of a weird. It's kind of weird because it's like Tribe and Ice Cube, and then they would end up beefing years later. It's
Right.
kind of weird though, but hey.
Facts.
Um, what else? Cave Bitch, which that's a very controversial song talking about interracial dating. But then he was like laid back with it, like make it rough, make it smooth, like calling
Right.
himself like Black Thunder or whatever,
Hmm.
Chocolate Thunder, whatever he called. He called himself some weird name that
Hmm.
I'd rather take that than Don Mega. Let's be real.
Right.
Enemy, down for whatever. I mean, my only gripe, it was a bit too short compared to the other albums. That's
Right.
why I think they did like the whole bootlegs and B sides, and then
Mm.
and shit like that too. But I
Right.
kind of then they also did like an what else did they do? Yeah, they re-released this album and shit, and they added it, like the both remix to What Can I Do. I'm just like, it's okay, but
Right.
I mean, he can do what it may he can do what it is, but at the same time, the album itself, I would call it his last great album
Right.
and shit like that, cause y'all know I don't care for the One Piece
Yeah.
albums. Raw
Part
footage.
part
Okay,
one was to me was better. I don't like part two at all.
yeah, part one was. It's not saying that much though.
Mm.
But like raw footage to me, that was like the last. It's not a great album. It's a good
Mm.
album, and shit
It's a
like
good
that. Because
album.
I didn't even care for Laugh Now Cry Later either.
Oh
He was too
God, I
crunk.
didn't. And I got that one. I don't like it.
Want to talk about it one
Yeah.
day?
Of course you. A trash review. Oh God.
Yeah, it's been a while since we did a good trash review.
Oh man. And we
Good while,
shitting on Ice Cube when that shouldn't happen.
huh?
And we shitting on Ice Cube when that shouldn't happen. Oh man.
I mean, we technically shouldn't on him on the hell. To be real, the second West Side Connection album was
You didn't like
better
that?
than anything he's done in
Yeah.
War and Peace. Those
It
both
was.
War and Peace album, and that album itself was still okay, but
Right.
it
I
kind of
agree.
grew on me.
Yeah.
But Lethal Injection is my shit. Even the album cover is gangster.
Yeah. I love it. Oh man, I'm having a hard time with this one, man. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with this. I have like I'm in a dilemma. I've had there's two albums that easily could have been on my list, but only one gonna make it.
Interesting.
Oh man, damn, 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 damn.
Excuse me, man.
All right, I'm gonna go with
I was young. I said,
oh
excuse me.
I'm gonna go with Public Enemy,
Oh wow,
Apocalypse 91.
that was also close on one me. My
This was the first again. This was the first Public Enemy album I bought. Well, actually, I bought this at the same time I bought Fear of a Black Planet. 'Cause I had bought both of them from Columbia House back in the day, and this album was phenomenal. Like the production from Bomb Squad and the controversy just behind some of these songs. Like by the time I get to Arizona and when you got shut them down, they still play that. They play that at like I was watching, the March Madness, one of the March Madness games at halftime at during the timeout they were playing shut them down for one of the games and can't trust it. The first singles, love it. Night Train, I love the Pete Rock
Oh,
remix for Night Train. Um, the Anthrax Bring the Noise remix. I always used to see that video on MTV. When they were rotation and this was a phenomenal album. Like I love this album. I love their other albums. Takes a Nation of Millions and Forever Black Planet and Music and Our Message. But their fourth album, this one was a gem. I don't really hear nobody talk about this one a lot. You know what I'm saying? And this one was great. So I had a dilemma because it was like the other album was like I don't know that it might not make it, but this one definitely was great.
understandable. All right, this might be a curveball right here. It's the Beastie Boys with Ill Communication.
Oh, I love
Um,
that. How come that didn't make my list? Oh my god,
oh wow.
we got to do a part two or something.
Yeah,
Yo,
but
I
yeah.
forgot about that. That's the fourth album. Wow, and that's my favorite Beastie Boys album.
Well, this is like my
That's
third
crazy.
favorite. Yeah, third favorite. Yeah,
Wow.
they went a bit more boom bapish with this one and shit. They kind of went hard. It's like with this album, they
Mm-hmm.
went jazzier. They went boom bapish. It's like how can I put this? It's like the best of the Beastie Boys, pretty
Right.
much. Um, one thing I loved about this album, like, was just how fucking New York is. It's like their most New York album. Just beginning a sure shot with the fucking flute and everything. And then you got one of my all time favorite songs, "Get It Together" with the great
Yes.
Q-Tip.
Love
The
that.
remix is just as good too.
Yes.
Um, my favorite songs,
Mm-hmm.
like if I had to pick a couple, it would might be "The Scoop." I love that track.
That's dope.
Up and I'm great from 88,
Yes.
94. My shit is raw. I was like dun, 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 dun,
Yes.
dun. There's a dope live version. It's not like a video performance. It's like a audio live recording and shit like that too for all y'all who interested. Cause I never felt that song guy is just due like that. But hey,
Right.
um, Flute Loop, too damn
Yes.
short.
Yeah, it is.
Too fucking short.
Definitely.
I think there was like a longer version I saw on YouTube. I could be wrong.
Really.
Um, I'm just gonna sabotage. I know that kind of gets a bit overplayed sometimes, but I still love it to this day.
And
I
you
think
know what?
everyone,
I didn't like that song when it first came out,
yeah,
but I knew it was like this is the Beasties. They were a punk rock band. They're going back to their roots. They released
yeah,
that first, and then like it grew on me years later because like just loving that whole album. Then I went back to that song. I'm like, okay, and I got more into like the alternative rock and all that. So I love it now. But when that first came out back in '94, I didn't like it.
yeah. I mean, because like it pretty much was like a left field kind of track, to be real
Yeah.
with you,
Right.
and stuff like that. So I can kind of get your point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like they went back to their roots while still at the same time respecting the hip hop and stuff like that. And you can't really say that about like a lot of motherfuckers and shit too. So this was definitely a very dope album, in my
Yes.
personal opinion. My favorite album is Check Your Head or Paul's Boutique, but most likely Check Your Head. That's actually my favorite album
Check
because
Air was dope. I love Check Air.
yeah, man. To this day,
Definitely.
I don't understand why that album is not as highly regarded as a classic
I
like
don't
Paul's
understand that.
Boutique or License to Ill, and I love those albums and shit too. But
Right. All right, I got we at number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Number 5. Wow. Number 5 I got 1999 The Roots, Things Fall Apart. Love this album. This is between this and Philadelphia, this is like my favorite. Like both of them are my two favorites. And again, like the production by Dilla, rest in peace. Dilla and Questlove and the Grand Wizards, classic hip hop here, and the joints, Don't See Us and Dynamite, Adrenaline, You Got Me, 100% Dundee is, oh man, just
oh,
phenomenal. Black Thought. in its prime. Dice Raw, rest in peace Malik B. Just a great album, man. This is five mic material right here, and man, when I was doing this list, I was like, yo, I gotta have things fall apart on here because this is like one of their best albums, man. You know what I'm saying? I loved it. I still play it. It's phenomenal. So yeah,
Actually, yeah, man. My next choice is Tupac with All Eyes on Me.
yes,
Dope album and shit like that. I know. I've said my thoughts on All Eyes on Me, but I can't deny this work and stuff like that. You know, what it does right, it does right. Like fucking ambitious as a writer and
yes,
stuff like that. Just that intro alone.
right.
I still love the how Mike Tyson sometimes comes in the ring playing that song in the background
Mm,
and shit like that. Next to the Red Man Time for Some Action, that's like my favorite Tyson intro.
yes.
Period. That might be a dope list in the future.
Oh yeah, for
That
sure.
favorite Tyson intros and shit. Cause
Tyson
Tyson,
intros,
especially at that time, Tyson was just eating
mm,
motherfucker. Like didn't give no
crazy.
fucks and shit. Like he was like the first boxer the hip hop community respected. Let's just keep it a buck
Right.
and shit. I don't give a fuck. I mean, yeah, Ali. I mean, yeah, Ali and shit like that. But like Mike Tyson was like that guy for that time, man. Shit, man.
Yes.
Fucking Two of America's Most Wanted was Snoop. Fucking, I'm gonna say some song I don't really hear a lot of people mention, by the way, like
Mm.
Run the Streets with Michelet. That was a
Oh
dope one.
yeah.
Heaven Ain't Hard to Find. I love that track.
Oh
Nice way
yeah.
to end off the album.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Thug Passion.
Dog
Didn't like
Pound.
that song at first, but now I love it. That's Jewel did her thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I said, the only gripe I felt like it was definitely rushed. You can definitely feel like the rushness and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's still a hip hop classic. I still love it. Hey, it is what it is.
Dope. Yes. Okay. Number four, I got 1996 De La Soul. Stakes is high.
That's on
Love
my
this
list
album.
too.
Love this album. One of their best. Man, super MC and the business
Mm,
and dog eat dog. It's so easy. True Gorgeous. Well, just killed that. For more. I love this album. Most Def and Truth or Nola on this album, and Common is on this album. Just a great genre. Just a great album, man. Production, the lyrics. I think it's like one of the most like simplified albums in terms of like the lyrics. Like they
yeah,
simplify their lyrics where you can understand what they saying compared to their earlier projects. And this was a great album, man. Dilla once again is on here. Rest in peace to Dilla, and classic album.
I agree. And yeah, that's on my list as well too.
Yeah,
My number three is Eric B and Rakim's "Don't Sweat the Technique."
nice.
To me, their fourth straight classic. Fourth straight classic. A lot of motherfuckers want to talk so much shit about this album
Mm,
and stuff like that. Talk about they felt like they were a bit too. It's like what they thought. Oh, they didn't. Don't never give a clear explanation why they disliked this album
right.
and whatnot. I'm just looking at myself like, was it because they said, oh, maybe it was a bit too mainstream, that whole "What's on Your Mind." I'm just like, come the fuck on. That is a damn cut. Stop that. Stop reaching.
Right.
Cause if fucking Drake did some shit with that beat, y'all will be all over that shit like
Exactly.
gravy.
Yep.
Get out of here.
Facts.
Like, and I'm not trying to give no ideas. Let me stop, please. But like, I'm just saying, cause let's be real. If LL did a shit like that, that would have been a fucking hit, you know.
Right. Facts.
But then it has some in terms of like topics. I felt like this had some of their best songs conceptual wise. This is conceptually their best album. Like
Right.
Teach the Children, Relax with Pet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I had to read. Know the Ledge, which
Mm,
around this time also they were appearing on soundtracks too. So and of course it had the legendary What's Going On, of course, Casualties of War. Love this fucking that was about the Gulf War and shit too. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
There's some motherfuckers say, "Oh, Rakim sometimes has no topics in his rhymes," which
Right.
kind of pisses me off and shit though. But
Crazy.
and just like with "Sex and Violence" by BDP, it came out in '92
Hmm.
and stuff. But it seems like once the Chronic came out and shit like that, kind of people kind of forgot about this album or some shit like that. But it's still a dope album to this day, and I still love it. You know what I'm saying? They never had a bad album and shit too. So don't sweat the technique. Like don't sweat the technique was more daytime. Let the rhythm hit. It was more nighttime. That's the best
Hmm.
way to put it. Like it had a
Facts.
more uptown feel.
All right, number three for me is 2002 Eminem, the Eminem Show. His
Yes.
last great album, his last classic. I need Eminem from '02 again because we haven't gotten it. We've gotten glimpses of it on Relapse and on Recovery, but I need '02 M again. And Dre was in, is not even Dre, but M did a phenomenal job on the production and Soldier and Superman, the drips with Obi Trice, one of my favorite joints on here. Say What You Say. He took shots at Jermaine Dupri on that. Um, Till I Collapse. It's oh man, I love this album, man. Cleaning out my closet, dude. And I don't know another artist that could call out his moms like that and make it dope. Like he was just breaking boundaries at that point, and man, this was a great album, man. I love it. It's a five night classic, and I need '02 Eminem again on, just in general. Like just give me '02 Eminem lyrics with Alchemist production, and you got a classic. Cause I know Alchemist will give him some of his best shit, and throw in a couple features, and I need that Eminem back. But definitely a great album for his fourth effort.
Definitely, definitely. All right. My number two is De La Soul Stakes is High.
Yes.
Very dope album and stuff like that. I'm not gonna say too much since he already said what I said. The best of it, but very darkest album in the discography. The title track, Sunshine, um, Long Island Degrees and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just a fucking dope. Like they were just fucking disgusted with hip hop at that time and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
baby, 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 baby. Um, what? Oh, excuse me. It was ooh, baby, baby, whatever.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm
Oh
talking
baby,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, very dope shit. Like it's like they were making fun of like Bad Boy all over that whole fucking album. Like niggas always talk about De La Soul and Pop. I'm just like they were kind of mostly making fun of
Mhm.
Biggie
Right.
on certain tracks. So I'm just, I mean, it's always Pop, but I'm just saying
Yep.
if you hear Baby, 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 it's obviously who they talking about and
Facts.
shit. That's all I gotta say.
Yep. All right. Number two for me. Number two is going to be 1999 Mom Deep Murder Music, a classic. Again, to me, this is their last classic album, and the production. This was like the first album they worked with Alchemist, and he did the Realist with Cool G Rap. That should have been a single. That's my favorite joint on here. It's Mine with Nas, the Quiet Storm remix with Little Kim, and you got Can't Fuck with Raekwon, and you know Going Out with a Little Caesars on that joint, and man, it's this is I love this album, man. This is a phenomenal album. The production from Havoc still in his bag. Prodigy, one of his best albums lyrically, especially on that title track, Murder Music. He just blacked out on that. Just a great album, man. I love it, and again, I don't hear too many people recognize this album. It's always infamous and Hell on Earth, but this their fourth album is a classic to me. So rest in peace, Prodigy.
Yes, rest in peace, Prodigy, indeed. My number one is LL Cool J's "Mama Said Knock You Out." My number one favorite fourth album. I mean, the first hip hop comeback to say the least. Him and Marley Marl pretty much put a very consistent album, no filler tracks whatsoever. From the booming system, Around the Way Girl, 6 Minutes of Pleasure, Power of God,
Mm-hmm.
Murdergram. title track alone, fucking unplugged version of the title track, to this day one of the fiercest performance I've ever seen and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, to the break of dawn. I
Mm,
mean, I've talked so much about this album and whatnot, but like this album to me was just LL coasting on those beats. Like this was really beginning how his voice got more deeper than
right.
like the traditional LL voice that it began with that album and stuff too. So
Hmm.
very fire album, 5 out of 5 hip hop classic.
And my number one is LL Cool J. Mama said knock you out. This is the
What?
yes,
We actually sharing the same
yes.
number one?
It's
What?
crazy. It's crazy.
What?
I was gonna go with Gangstar Hard to Earn. I love Hard to Earn, but I'm like, Mama said knock you out to me. That
Impact,
that
yeah.
this was the first LL album I ever bought. This was my first CD ever in history that I ever bought to start the CD collection. And
Really?
man, I was like, yo, when I heard Around the Way Girl and I heard the title track when he came out with that and the booming system and 6 minutes and cheesy rap blues and oh man,
Ooh.
this album is his best. So I love Radio and Biggie and Duffel, but to me, I think he was in a zone. Like I don't know if he was smoking crack or what, but him and Marley, but to get both of them in the studio for this album, they was like unbeatable.
Story
And,
of the album is crazy too.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I don't think he's made another album with Marley like this, yo. Like this was true. Like 14 Shots was dope, but it wasn't the same though.
It was Mama Nakia on steroids,
Right.
but it was to me. It was still to me. That's like my
Yes.
second favorite LL
I
album.
love that album too.
Well, actually, scratch that because Bigger and Different. That's my second favorite. That's my third.
I love 14 Shots. Definitely that was a great album. But this album, man, like flawless. I don't think there's one bad song on here. Like every song on here is fire. Even the last track, The Power of God, even every track on here was phenomenal. I loved it, man. I think he was in the zone. I'm like, yo, this is the L I'm missing. We need 1990 LL back. Give me 1990 LL back with, you know, I don't even know who could do production now for LL, man. I don't even know. It had to be like an assorted, like Primo. I never really heard him with Primo. Maybe Pete Rock and Alchemist, Derringer. Like it have to be like an assorted couple of producers. But give me 1990 LL because he was just unbeatable. He was cocky as shit. You know what I'm saying? It was just he was feeling himself, but he knew he was the shit and he could back it up. And man, I miss that LL. Like this is one of my favorite all time top 10 rap albums all time. Like this when we still doing the list, this is definitely gonna be high on my list. But I'm telling you, like this is I still love this album, man. I played this album to death and man, if I didn't get no other LL album and I just had this, I would be content with that because it's that good and I think it's worthy of being number one. So
Yeah, man, definitely worthy. We got a couple honorable mentions I want to mention.
yes, yes,
Too Short's Born to Mac. Now I know what y'all is saying. Oh well, that's technically his day. That's his major label debut, but
right,
I forget he dropped like 3 indie albums before that and stuff like that too. Which
right.
I have a feeling if I talk about those albums, I might get flagged. So one day, because I do want to talk about his whole. Well, not everything, because this he has a lot of trash when it comes to the 2000s. So at least up to 2001, I'll be grateful about that.
Right.
That's more into Mac, one of the earliest West Coast classics. I mean, shit like Freaky Tales
Yes.
in 1987, 86, and stuff like that. I mean,
Classic.
Jesus fucking Christ. Um, there was another song. I'm pulling up the song album right now. Party Time, very
Yes.
dope fucking track, and fucking, you know what I mean? I mean, it's a short album because I got the I want to say I got the dangerous. I want to say I got the dangerous music edition. I have to look back in my collection, but
Right.
yeah, Born to Mac. Even the album cover is groundbreaking too and shit. Like, and my other honorable mention, like Char mentioned, Public Enemy's Apocalypse '91, fucking fire album. Public Enemy's darkest album in my opinion and stuff like that.
Yes.
Flavor Flav did his thing. on that. Like that was the most serious you ever seen Flavor and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
And that's
facts,
saying something.
facts.
So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Okay, I mentioned Gangsta Hard to Earn. That's my favorite gangsta album. You got joints like Mass Appeal and Dwick. They put Dwick on this album. And Tons of Guns and Suckers Need Bodyguards. Code of the Streets, one of my favorites. This was a phenomenal gangsta album. Five Mics and EPMD, Business Never Personal.
Oh, I forgot.
This was my first EPMD album I ever purchased in '92, and this is like my favorite EPMD album. I love it. Crossover, my favorite joint on there, and Headbanger with not Das Effects, Redman and K Solo, and Mike Doc Part Two,
Mm.
coming at you with Das Effects, man. What else? Boondocks. Man, everything on here is phenomenal. Five Mic Classic. Damn, there's so many. Like you mentioned, Ill Communication. That was my. I can't get to it right now, but that was definitely should have been on my list. Oh man, so many great fourth albums, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, man. One more I'm gonna say.
Mm.
Run DMC's Tough in the Leather. That's my last one I'm gonna say.
Yes, Tougher Than Leather. That's another one that was great too.
Yeah, that was so close to being on my list, but as good as that album was, I
Mm.
felt like the last half of the album was not as strong as the first half
Yes, I agree. I agree.
and stuff like that. Not it wasn't um bad. It wasn't
Mm.
bad. I just felt like how can I put this? It's like one of those albums they saved the good songs for the beginning,
For the
then the
beginning.
last couple songs was filler material.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I want to say it was rushed doing that album. I want to say,
Um,
but it was still the best rapping they've ever done in their career.
yeah.
Beats to the Rhyme, Run's House,
Mm-hmm.
Papa Crazy.
Yes.
I think they had a song called Radio something like
Mm-hmm.
uh what was that one joint? Mary,
Mary Mary,
Mary,
yes.
why you bugging?
Fire, yes.
Like but they were still continuing on with like the rock samples
Right.
and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Forget about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
If we just forget about that whack ass movie,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, this is a very dope album.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
Facts.
What time is it? 3:11. I'm gonna stay on for a couple minutes
Yeah.
and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yes, this was great. Maybe we should do worst fourth albums.
Something different than the usual debut. That's
We
actually
could.
not a bad idea. Or we can do like mediocre or worse, like not just like worse. Because
Right.
when I
Right.
think of worst fourth, I think of Das Effects. This one.
Oh yeah.
Um, Damn, look at my collection right now.
Uh,
Drake. Drake.
Nostradamus. I had that in mind.
If that's on my list, that might be on the lower list, just
Right.
as mediocre. But
Right.
exhibits man versus machine.
See, I actually like that one though, but it's not a
Really?
classic. Yes, it's not a classic though.
Oh man,
I like it, but it's not to me. To me, his the three in front of it is better.
I would say the two because
The two.
Restless.
You didn't like Restless? Oh wow.
Restless was cool, but it got so overhyped because of the Dre beats.
Mm,
I'm gonna be real. People made it out to seem like, oh, Dre and Exhibit. I thought it was the Aftermath album,
right.
but it was just like Dre was only on like a few tracks, and yeah, it was cool. But I'm more of a S at the speed of life when he was more down with the alcoholics.
Right.
That's the Exhibit I like.
Right. Right.
Um, Drake's Nothing Was the Wait, that came out. Was that his fourth album?
That was the third. Well, I mean, if you count So Far Gone as a mixtape, I mean as an album, then it'll be his fourth.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count so
Yeah.
far. Well, after Nothing Was the Same was Views, right?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
views.
wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait. Yeah, because if you're reading this, too, that was originally a
A
mixtape.
mixtape,
So
right?
yeah, Views. Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh
God, views is great.
oh. Hold on, let me double check so I can actually.
He picked the right singles, but that's how I felt about Jay when he did Blueprint 3. He picked the right singles. I didn't like that album though.
Before I get excited, let me double check because that might be my top three.
Views is bad. That definitely gonna be in my top three as far
Oh
as like
yeah, that was his fourth album. Yeah.
worst album, worst fourth albums. Yes,
Oh
definitely views.
yes, yes.
I think there might have been like 6 songs I liked on there,
This
and that's
nigga,
it.
this went 6 times platinum.
Yes, because of Hotline Bling. That
Oh
was the
my
biggest hit on there.
god,
Hotline Bling was the biggest song on there.
six
And One Dance.
6 times, six
Yeah.
times. Are you serious?
Yep.
Jesus
Yep.
Christ.
You know these kids don't care about albums. It was all about
I
like
mean, I know the
streams.
album was successful, but 6 times platinum,
Yeah.
really?
All that for Hotline Bling and One Dance.
You know what? Let's do this next week, cause yeah,
Okay.
hold up. I might. Well, I got views, Man versus Machine. What else?
That Das
Somebody.
Effects album that was Generation Effects.
Oh, oh yeah.
That
Oh
was bad.
shit.
That shit was bad. Oh God.
Somebody else dropped a bad fourth album. I'm looking at my CDs right now.
Uh,
Oh, Fat Joe's the one in 2000. Joe's one still envy.
I actually like that, but it's not a classic though. Was that the one with the shit? That's the one where he did the joint with MOP? The MOP joint?
Let me double check. I
Cause
think
he
that
had
was.
like two, right? Then he had like two Jealous One Envy joints.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I know that was one with What Love. Yeah, it was like
Oh
that.
Lord. Oh
Trashy,
Lord.
trashy.
Mm.
How you have a Joe's one still envy and a Joe's one's envy too? Make that
That's
make
what I
sense.
don't understand. What you doing?
Nigga can't count, man. MOP. Yeah, I had that one MOP joint with P Pablo.
Shit. I don't remember that joint. But yeah, they I just Joe fell off to me after the 2000s anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, another dope fourth album.
Uh,
Eric Sermon's React.
that was dope. That was dope. That's the one with the big hit React that joint.
To me,
That
it
was
was like an
dope.
extension of the music album.
Yeah. I never did get that one.
Hey, I got it in the CD lot, like that one in music.
Those are all those are out of
Actually,
print now.
actually, scratch that.
Mm-hmm.
Music was his fourth album.
Music was
Yeah,
fourth album.
I love music.
I
Just
heard that a
like,
long time ago. I don't
but I'm
even
not gonna
remember.
lie, that music joint kind of gets overplayed once in a while. I
Yeah.
love it, but I was like, okay, we get it. Like there was other dope shit. I was like, okay, damn,
Right.
like goddamn. Just like music.
Mm.
He paid Marvin Gaye. Luckily, Marvin Gaye's because you know how Marvin Gaye's family be and shit. You
Mm-hmm.
know they
Yeah.
be sample vultures, and I'm like, God damn, they ruined Robin Thicke's career. Let's be real about that. Well, actually, Robin Thicke
Right.
ruined his own career. I'm gonna be real.
Right.
That was the first time a black family
Mm.
just ruined a white boy's career and shit. Like, damn. Not even the Jacksons can ruin Justin Timberlake's career.
Man. Um.
Um, ooh,
mm.
Blue Heavy D and the Boys Blue Funk.
I love Blue Funk.
I think we should have mentioned that. Damn.
I should have mentioned yes. There's so many to mention though.
Yeah.
Memphis Bleak. What about him? His fourth album. Did you like it?
I'm not gonna lie. The only thing I remember was Dear Summer.
I was, and I have that album too. I wasn't. There's some songs I like. I don't like everything on there though.
Oh,
That might
that's
make the
bad
list.
when the only thing I remember is not even your own song.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord. Oh man.
Damn. Cause Dear Summer, that was a beautiful track. I still
Yeah.
bum that to this day.
Yeah.
Um, Ja Rule's for Last Temptation. Oh,
See,
ooh.
I actually like that.
So the ones you like, I hate.
I, I actually call that album a classic. Yo.
And that's what kills me. You don't call Jada Kiss's Kiss the Game Goodbye a classic, but you call this shit a classic?
Oh
Really?
God. Yo. Yo, compared to Jada's fourth album, that is a classic. What was Jada's fourth album? That what was it?
Top five. Top
I
five
didn't
dead
like
or
that.
alive.
That was bad. That going on the list for
That was
sure.
decent.
Last Temptation to me was better than that. I do not like that
Nah, you
top five.
bugging. You bugging. So
I did
Mesmerize
not
is
like that.
better than that shit? Really?
Yes, I did not like
Mes-
that shit. It might have been like maybe two songs on that top five that are alive that I actually liked. But everything else, I'm like, what the fuck is this? But the song he did, the one that Swiss Beats produced with like the Jason joint, and he
Yeah.
had like the video when he's like that's like the prelude to the Jason and Freddie album with him and Fab. That one I like, but I didn't like nothing else on that album. I'm like, yo, this shit is you can't be top five that alive with this album.
Yeah, I hate when MCs do that stupid shit. They call themselves king or top five
Yeah,
when the album is fucking trash, man. Or don't
exactly.
even write their fucking material.
Crazy,
Hate when motherfuckers do that shit. Like Ti was lucky that shit worked for him.
right?
He was
Oh
fucking lucky
Lord.
because he had that movie ATL.
Yep.
Yeah, he marketed that shit well.
Oh yeah.
There
Damn.
was another rapper that called himself the
Mm.
greatest or some shit like that. That was bullshit or something like that. So that's embarrassing.
Oh my god.
Oh, Ultra Magnetic MC's fourth album,
Which one was that?
The Best Kept Secret from '07.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that.
But
That
we
album
didn't
was
even
bad.
finish that review, man.
I did not like that one. I remember that.
I'm just like,
That
you know
one.
what? This week, I don't even want to talk about this
Yeah,
album.
that one
I
was
don't even
bad
consider
though.
that album. To me, the first three albums, I consider that.
Yeah, that's the best. It just sounded outdated, like the beats and everything.
Right, like they were trying to keep like the old school. It was like one of those, and I hate to say it, one of those hip
Mm,
hop albums where like the hip hop pioneer tries to keep the old school alive,
right.
but at the same time, it just sounds so out of touch and shit.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm down for that shit, but
Mm,
like when Just Ice in 1990 dropped his fourth album, Grandmaster Flash, that wasn't
right.
a like it was a 19. It was dropped in 1990, and
Mm,
a lot of that shit he was doing, it was just like yeah. And I love Just Ice and shit too. I
right.
love Grandmaster Flash, but it was just like yeah. But to this day, the most confusing fourth album in hip hop history is Jay Z's Volume 3, The Life and Times of Son Carter.
Mm.
It's like I like it, but I don't like it.
It's good, but it's not a classic though.
Oh yeah, the Jay fans
Mm,
they love that album, but they don't love it in My Lifetime Volume
I
One.
don't understand that. That
I
that to
don't
me is better.
can't
That's a better album.
understand. You know what I might do if
Mm.
I don't understand something, I might pull in the Queen Latifah. I can't understand. Can't understand. If Thought Crimes can play the X Files every time some bullshit happens, I can
Right.
play that shit.
Facts.
Shout out to Thought Crimes, by the way. They have me rolling sometimes. They the main ones butchering Jussie Smollett's name because I'm just looking at myself like the way y'all butcher this man's name. It is not that hard to pronounce. Like
Right.
y'all doing this shit on purpose just because y'all ignorant,
Oh
just
Lord.
so y'all can act like y'all speaking French and shit. Du souhait Smollett.
Speaking French.
Oh Jesus. Um. But yeah, what time is it? 3:21. Yeah, I'm about to call tonight because I got to finish up this girl's stuff.
All
But
right.
I'm dropping this sometime this weekend.
Cool.
Hopefully,
Cool.
this was fun as fuck.
Yeah, this is dope.
Um, I would definitely hit you up tomorrow night or
All
later.
right. Cool.
Peace.
Peace,
And
yo.
thank y'all so much for watching. Stay tuned for another dope list very soon. And make sure y'all watching the top 150 rap albums. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Peace.
Peace.